Hi, this is video presentation of our flipbook assignment. So our flipbook topic is about school bullying factor impacts and societal perception. So before we go through our flipbook, I would like to introduce myself and my group member. My name is Anitinin Anak Dennis. My group members Muhammad Haziq Izan bin Zamahari, Rasul Leong Bonkang, and Izakir Hakim bin Samza Effendi. So without further ado, let's go into for our first page. So this is our table of content. Let's jump straight to introduction. So nowadays, bullying is a serious issue that affects individuals of all ages, where it remains a major concern within the community, especially in education institutions and social platforms. The concept of bullying is defined as the repetition of aggressive action or violence, which can be done through physical, verbal, or psychological means carried out by an individual or a group. Notably, peer peer perpetrators tends to seek victims who appear to be weaker than them. The action of bullying can cause harm on a victim future, as this kind of act not only leave a physical scar but also leave deep emotion and psychological wounds. Many victims have a traumatic experience in their life, and some of them are struggle to recover from it. Therefore, it is important for all parties to understand the factor behind bullying, its impact, and comprehensive measure required to prevent this symptom from spreading further. With this, our flipbook aim to cover this topic in addition to a comprehensive analysis and comparison between the scholarly works of Sabramani 2021 and Wang 2023, where they delve into bullying and its associated individual, peers, family, social factors, as well as its impact and intervention that can be done to decrease further risk of bullying, respectively.
Hi everyone, my name is Zakir Hakim, and in this part of the video, I will be summarizing two key articles that explore the issue of bullying in schools, both in Malaysia and internationally. These studies help us understand not just how common bullying is, but also why it happens and what can be done to stop it. The first article is by Subramani and colleagues, published in 2021. This research examined bullying across Malaysian national secondary schools by collecting data from about 4,500 students, using a quantitative cross-sectional approach. One of the most striking findings was that nearly 80% of students reported being involved in bullying in some form, whether as victims, perpetrators, or both. Only 20.9% said they had no involvement at all. Following this, verbal bullying was found to be the most common form, followed by physical, relational, and then cyberbullying. The study also highlighted several factors that contribute to bullying. For example, social media use played a major role. About 80% of respondents own a smartphone, and more than half use the internet daily. Many of these students also reported to be facing psychological distress, which may increase vulnerability to bullying. Aside from this, peer influences were also another significant factor. While most students had many friends, conflicts within these friendships increased the likelihood of bullying or aggressive behavior. Family and school factors also mattered, such as parents' education levels and the quality of student-teacher relationships. The second article that I'm about to summarize is by Jiaqi Wang, which looks at bullying from a more global perspective. Wang focuses on the impacts of bullying, as well as effective interventions that schools can adopt. The study reports that victims of bullying often suffer from depression, poor physical health, difficulties in emotional regulation, and increasing risks of self-harm. Some victims even develop distorted ways of processing social information, which unfortunately can make them more vulnerable to being bullied again. Wang also reviews several intervention strategies. One effective approach involves peer participation, such as group discussions and role-playing activities. These methods were shown to reduce bullying perpetration by 12.5% and bullying victimization by 9% respectively. Another important intervention method is the whole school approach, where teachers and parents are educated about bullying to ensure consistent support. This has been shown to significantly reduce bullying behaviors. Overall, Wang's findings emphasize how serious the psychological impact of bullying can be and why schools must always take active steps to introduce structured anti-bullying programs.
Now I will continue with the comparative analysis of the two articles on school bullying. In this section, I will compare their focus, similarities, and key differences, as well as how they complement each other in understanding bullying as a social and mental health issues. Both articles examine school bullying, but from different perspectives. Subramani et al. 2021 focused mainly on the causes and prevalence of bullying among Malaysian secondary school students, while Wang 2023 emphasized the effects of bullying and the effectiveness of school-based intervention programs at a global level. Despite these differences, both studies strongly agree on one key point: bullying is closely linked to students' mental health. Subramani et al. Identify psychological distress as a significant factor that contributes to bullying behavior, whereas Wang demonstrates that bullying can lead to serious and long-term mental health consequences for students. However, the main difference lies in how each article approaches solutions. Subramani et al. Highlight the importance of early prevention and mental health supports, but provide limited discussion on specific intervention programs. In contrast, Wang offers a more detailed evaluation of anti-bullying strategy, particularly the whole school approach, involving students, teachers, parents, and school policies. While these programs are effective in reducing victimization, Wang also notes that they are less effective in stopping bullying behavior itself, indicating the need for more targeted and age-appropriate intervention. In summary, Sabrani et al. Provide a strong foundation by explaining why bullying occurs, while Wang explained the discussion by showing what happened as a result of bullying on how schools can respond. Together, this article offers a more comprehensive understanding of school bullying by linking its causes, effects, and possible solutions. In addition to the academic articles, the arguments presented are further supported by insights from related videos. One such video is Effects of Bullying on Children, published by the News4Jack's local station on YouTube. In this video, mental health therapist Karen Hanson from the DuPont Counseling Center explains why bullying occurs and how it can be prevented. She defines bullying as an aggressive and repeated behavior which may include various forms of teasing or violence, and highlights its serious impact on children's emotional well-being. This supports Sabrani et al. 2021, who emphasized that continued involvement in aggressive behavior increases the likelihood of students being bullied. At the same time, Hanson's discussion on the effect of bullying, such as increases irritability and mood changes, align with Wang 2023, who reports that bullying negatively affects students' physical health, emotional satisfaction, and overall well-being. Hanson also suggests several preventive measures, including parental awareness of behavioral changes and empowering children with social and emotional skills, such as assertiveness and conflict resolution. These strategies further reflect Sabrani et al.'s view that bullying is influenced by multiple social environments. Their study shows that bullying is common among Malaysian students and is associated with factors such as psychological distress, excessive social media use, peer conflicts, and weak student-teacher relationships, reinforcing the idea that bullying is a complex social issue rather than solely an individual problem. In contrast, Wang 2023 frames bullying primarily as a public and mental health concern, focusing on its short-term and long-term consequences for both victims and perpetrators. These include depression, anxiety, self-harm, emotional regulation difficulties, and poor social skills. Wang also explained that repeated exposure to bullying can create a cycle of continued bullying, as it affects how students cope with stress and interpret social interaction, placing greater emphasis on the outcome of bullying rather than its initial causes. Furthermore, another supporting video featuring Dr. Brigitte Bix from the Mayo Clinic focuses on practical methods to stop bullying in school environment. Dr. Bix explained that a key driver of bullying is the desire for social dominance or higher status. The strategies she suggests, such as developing social and emotional skills, encouraging proactive behavior, and fostering safe and supportive school environments, are consistent with Wang's findings on effective intervention approaches. These methods help students respond appropriately to aggression, build healthy relationships, and feel accepted within their social environments. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.
Hello, I'm Russell Leong, and I'm here to carry on with the key questions. So for our first key question is, what social and environment factors contribute to school bullying? Now, our first key question looks at what causes school bullying. Now, according to Subramani et al. 2021 shows that bullying is strongly influenced by social and environmental factors. Peer conflicts play a major role, as students who frequently argue or engage in aggressive behavior are more likely to be involved in bullying. Social media exposure is another important factor, as excessive online activity can normalize aggressive behavior and extend bullying beyond school. Psychological distress and weak student-teacher relationships also increase the risk of bullying. Now, this shows that bullying is shaped by social environments rather than individual behavior alone. Now, for the next question, which is how does school bullying affect students' mental health and social development? Now, our second question focuses more on the impacts of the bullying. Brahmani et al. 2021 also found that many students involved in bullying experience psychological distress. Now, Wang in 2023 further explains that bullying victims often suffer from depression, emotional dysregulation, and self-harm behaviors. These mental health effects can weaken students' social skills, making it harder for them to form healthy peer relationships. Now, as a result, bullying can have long-term effects on students' identity and social development. For the next key question, which is how do repeated bullying experiences reinforce cycles of victimization and aggression? Now, the third question examines why bullying often continues over time. According to Wang 2023, repeated bullying can distort how victims interpret social situations, causing them to misread social cues and withdraw socially. This emotional and social vulnerability increases their chances of being bullied again. So Brahmani et al. In 2021 support this by showing that students involved in frequent peer conflicts are more likely to experience repeated bullying. This suggests that bullying functions as a self-reinforcing social cycle rather than a one-time incident. Now, for the last key question, which is how effective are school-based interventions and what challenges remain? Now, our final question looks more onto the solutions. For Wang 2023 finds that whole school interventions involving students, teachers, and parents can reduce bullying victimization. Peer-based activities such as discussion and role-playing also show positive results. However, these interventions are less effective in stopping students from becoming perpetrators. Now, for Sabrani et al. In 2021, they emphasize early prevention and mental health awareness, highlighting the need for more comprehensive and culturally appropriate anti-bullying strategies.
So, conclusions. In conclusion, the symptoms of bullying are a silent threat that could severely disrupt the potential of a younger generation and the harmony of society. The effects are not only limited to physical effects, but also leaving emotional scars towards victims that may last for years. If this is left unaddressed, these symptoms are able to create a cycle of fear, insecurity, and deteriorating mental health with communities. When examined from an anthropological and sociological perspective, bullying reflects deeper how social structure, power relation, and cultural norms that shape how individuals interact within groups. It highlights how inequality, social hierarchies, and group identities can be reproduced through everyday practices, particularly among youth who are still learning their place in society. Studying bullying therefore allows scholars to understand broader issues such as social control, marginalization, and the impact of socialization within institutions like school and families. Therefore, everyone must work together to eliminate the issue from its root as the bamboo reinforces the riverbank by standing together. A united community can prevent these symptoms from spreading. With proper education, strict enforcement, and a caring community, that we can build a safe and positive environment for all people. We could stand together and overcome the issue by taking responsibility and eliminate it so that none of the victims are suffering in silence. Youth must never be afraid to speak out regarding the issue as the look after the young and ask them so that they are able to open up themselves. The issue is never meant to be dealt with alone, but a burden we share with everyone. So it feels lighter when we carry it together. So this is our references. I think that is the end of our book video presentation. Thank you for watching.